So, so I was rolling 64, in case you did not know that. And, wondered where this is. Anyway, so, as you might have known, I did a 10-second review of Oz the Great and Power, Temple Run Oz. So, and I said it was a good game. It was a good game. And so I kind of wanted to do an improv review of Oz the Great and Powerful. So, yeah, so this is pretty much going to be improvised. I'm going to go ahead and throw up a spoiler alert, because there are going to be spoilers. I can't help that there's going to be spoilers. And so, I was actually thinking about what I was going to say in this video during class. So, during class, I wrote down a bunch of things to talk about, just Oz topics, as it's entitled, on this piece of paper. So, yeah, I guess you could kind of say that this is kind of cinema snob midnight screening style. It's just going to be totally improv, and I just have things I wanted to talk about. So, let's just get on with this little review of Oz the Great and Powerful. Alright, so the first point on here is the plot. Duh. So, the plot. So, we start off the movie. It's black and white. It takes place in Kansas. And it's a 4:3 block ratio instead of 16:9, which is what you're seeing now, and I know I can barely get my hand over that. It's because there's a freaking wall right here. I chose the only corner that doesn't have anything in my room so that I can do this. So we meet our main character, Oz, or Oscar Diggs. He has this really, really long name, and I don't know what it really is. I might splice in just a small clip of me saying his full name, because it's really, really long. So we meet Oz, and he's a magician, a carnival magician, and he's okay for a magician. And he's really just a con artist, you know? And so, and there's this, and when he's doing all this magic, a little girl in the audience says, "Can you heal my legs?" And, you know, obviously he can't, because he's not actual magic, he's a trickster, you know. And then he meets up with this woman that apparently he was in love with, played by, what's her name? Oh, man, I don't know her name. I think it's Michelle Williams. I think that's her name. And so, she's playing this person that Oz, I guess, was in love with. And apparently some, Mr. Gale, or Dr. Gale, I don't remember, Mr. Gale proposed to her, and she's here asking, well, should I do it? Because apparently they've kept their relation a secret for some reason. And he's like, sure, so why not? So, and of course, Mr. Gale, that's kind of a hint that Michelle Williams, if that's her name, I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm not quite sure, if she's probably going to end up being Dorothy's mom. You know, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, obviously, because Dorothy's name is Dorothy Gale, so. So then apparently he's getting into trouble with other people at the carnival. And so he runs away in a hot air balloon, but uh-oh, there's a tornado. And I didn't see this in 3D, I saw it in 2D, and I'm not a 3D person. That would require me to take my glasses off, and I can't see without my glasses. I mean, I could probably put the glasses on and then the 3D on, but that just make me look stupid. Anyway, so he's in this tornado, stuff flying at him like fence posts and stuff, and he nearly dies. But he's like praying to God, like, oh, just save me and I'll do something nice. And he gets saved. And then he looks up to this new land. It goes into color, and it goes to widescreen, and then he's in Oz. Which is weird because his name is Oz. So now he's in Oz, and he gets there and he meets Mila Kunis, who is a good witch in this. So, and Mila Kunis. Wow. Just wow. So anyway, so they go, and apparently they sleep in the woods at night, and I guess he starts flirting with her, and they kiss, and kind of weird. And then the next day, they're on their way, and she's like, oh, and I forgot to say, like, when they first meet, I can't believe I forgot this is an important part of this is like the most important part. So when they meet, she asks his name, and he says, well, my name is Oz. And she's like, oh, it's the same name as our lad. Are you the wizard? And so he's like, so why the heck not? I'll be your wizard. And so the next day, after all that camping and stuff, they're walking on the yellow brick road to go to Emerald City. And while they're walking, her character's name is Theodora, I think. I don't know, I call her Mila Kunis. But, so she says, you'll rule the land as the wizard, and I will be your queen. So I guess she wants to get married, but, I guess in her defense, in Oz, this is like the first young, tall man to ever come to Oz. So, I guess it makes sense. Right, 840. So they do that, and then they find a monkey trapped in vines. A flying monkey, no less. I believe his name is Finley. And, so Oz, unties him from the vines. But he's like, no, the vines are not gonna hurt me. The lion is. Oh my gosh. And so Oz does this poof thing and gets out of the way, and the lion runs away like a coward. Like he's a cowardly lion. Interesting. So, and then Finley is like, alright, I'm going to be your assistant for all eternity, no matter what. And Oz is like, and you're not going to go back on that? I won't go back on that. I'm not the wizard. So, yeah. And so they move on. I'm going to skip a little bit. They get to the Emerald City. And Theodora didn't hear him say that he's not the wizard, so she's still under this fantasy that he's still the wizard. So they get there, and they meet this other witch, played by, God knows who. So, I don't know her name. And she's dressed in all black, and so, and she's like, well, here's all these riches for you, wizard, as you're the new king. But there's one little thing in your contract that I kind of need to bring up. For you to become the king, you have to defeat the Wicked Witch. And he's like, well, fine. If I want, all this gold over here that's like 50 feet high or something, I don't even know, I'll go do that. So he goes on and Finley goes with him, and they head on to face the Wicked Witch of the South. So on their way there, they find this town made of china. And for all you people out there that don't know dishes, I'm not talking about the country china, I'm talking about dishes, like fine china, And so, it's a town made of china. It's Chinatown. Puns. That's a pun Chuck Conroy would make. Anyway, so, and they go into this wrecked house. This place is actually a wreck. I forgot to mention that, but this place is a wreck. There's no one to be found. But they go into this place, and they see this little, really little girl, and she's made of china, of porcelain. She's the China girl. And so he says, it's okay, we won't hurt you, just get up and come over here. We gotta get out of this house. And she's like, no, I can't. And then they see that her legs are broken off. Does this kinda sound familiar? So he's like, oh, I gotta fix her legs. So, and it's actually the same girl from the original scene back in Kansas that voices the little porcelain girl, the China girl. That's what I'm going to call it, China girl. And so he gets out glue that he keeps handy, okay, and he glues her legs back on, and then they start off on the Albrecht Road, and he's like, alright, just go that way and you'll get to the Emerald City. She's like, no, I want to come with you, and yada, 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 and then they're all together, and they make it to the Dark Forest, and shenanigans happen. And so they make it to the south, to the lair of the Wicked Witch. And earlier they said that to kill the Wicked Witch you would just have to break her wand, like on your knee. Brrr. So Oz, the monkey, Finley, and the China girl, they form this plan to take it, and they get it, and he's just about to break it. And he doesn't, because the Wicked Witch is right behind him. And so he gets scared, and then she takes off her hood, and plot twist! It's actually Glinda, the Good Witch, from The Wizard of Oz, that gave Dorothy the ruby slippers. So we're just like, okay, well, what's going on? Cut back to the Emerald City, where Theodora and her sister, the other witch, by the way, they're sisters, by the way, they're talking, and so Theodora's sister makes a magic box, out of thin air, because I guess that's Oz's pickup line that he used on Mila Kunis, and so her sister shows Mila that she has a magic box too, I guess he must have tried to pick me up too. She doesn't talk like that, but I'm just trying to add some hilarity to this. And so Mila gets mad, and then she looks into her sister's crystal ball. I don't even know what her sister's name is. They probably said it, but I wasn't paying attention, because I don't know. So she looks into her sister's crystal ball, and it shows that Oz is going off with Glinda, and Theodora's sister fooled everyone into believing that Glinda was the Wicked Witch, and that she killed the king, the former king of Oz. And so, I guess Theodora thought, like, okay, well, now Oz is going after Glinda. And she starts crying, and I gotta take my glasses off for this. So she cries tears, right? And the tears come down her face like this. They leave scars. I'm dead serious. They leave scars where her tears were, and it's weird. Like, I guess witches don't cry. And then later, well, I guess I should go on to the actual next scene. So the next scene, Glinda is taking Oz in all these bubbles, taking Oz, Finley, and the China Girl, and they're all in their own bubble, and they're flying off to Glinda's kingdom, and her kingdom is like encased in a bubble, and she says, only good people can go through the bubble. And Oz is like, oh crap, I'm gonna die. And it takes him a bit, but he does get through, so. That's pretty funny, actually. I didn't even realize that until someone pointed it out to me after the movie, and I'm just like, oh, well, that's funny. So they get there, and then cut back to the Emerald City, trying to stay in logical order. And so Mila Kunis is still crying, and more tears, giving her 4 tear scars, which are just scary, okay? They're just scary. I mean, she still looks good with them, but still. It's just weird. And her sister is like, here, have this apple. This green apple. And your power will be unleashed, and you can take revenge on Oz. And so Mila Kunis is like, alright. You're the Wicked Witch, aren't you? Oh, crap. And so, then, she's, like, in pain, she's on the floor, and she's like, Argh! And you see this green hand with claws just hit the table, like, you see it in the trailer, so. And then she gets up, and you can only see her shadow and her sister. You don't see her yet. I don't know why I'm doing this when this is just a wall. So, her sister's like, I can give you your original looks, but you can keep your power. And she's like, no, I'm gonna keep this. I want him to see what he turned me into. And she does the Wicked Witch laugh. She gets a hat, punches it, and it becomes the Wicked Witch hat. She doesn't do the Linkara thing, but. And so we realize Mila Kunis is the Wicked Witch. And so now we're getting into the tragedy of the Wicked Witch. So you guys all know that this is a prequel. And so when she first turned into the Wicked Witch, me, without thinking, well, kind of, but me forgetting that the Wizard of Oz movie exists, I thought to myself, okay, well, she'll get better in the end, and then Oz and Mila will hook up, and everything will be hunky-dory. Then I remembered, this is a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, and it has to end with her still being the Wicked Witch, and her never changing back until Dorothy eventually kills her. which, when you think about it, is a really sad and depressing tale. Like, this is really depressing when you watch it, because, I guess I should move on with the story. We're up to 20 minutes, so they do all that, and then they go, Glinda shows Oz all the people of her kingdom, and there's, like, the Tinkers and the Munchkins and the farmers and everything. And then they're like, oh, well, Oz, you're the wizard. Lead us into battle. And he's like, alright, I'll do it. Show me the army. And they're like, we are the army. And he's like, you're the army? Just a bunch of munchkins and old people and farmers. Can you at least kill people? And Glinda's like, we're not. The people of Oz are forbidden to kill. Well, there goes the army. So, probably should have written out the plot on this. So, oh, I already missed the part. Oh well. I can save that for the end. So then he thinks, oh, wait, I'm a trickster. I'm a con man. I'm an illusionist. I have a plan that will just work with my illusionary tricks. So, he gives the Tinkerers all these plans to build things that he conveniently knows how to build. And then they go in for the attack on the Emerald City so that they can fight. Well, wait first. First off, before he does all that and they talk, the Wicked Witch, Mila Kunis, breaks through the barrier. Or, like, the Wicked Witch attacks, like, her sister attacks, and Glinda's like, she can't get through that bubble. And then they get to the bubble, and she's like, oh, well, she must have had help. And, oh boy. I'm looking down here, where it says, it's a bunch of numbers, like K / a bunch of numbers in M. I guess that's how much time I have left, so I better get this off my chest. So they do all of that. So the Wicked Witch, Mila Kunis, comes in, or actually, the ground explodes, and she's in the flames. You see that in the trailer, it's really cool. And then you see her, and, why did it have to be Mila Kunis? Alright, so, first off, she has to be her skin has to be green. Her face, first off, those 4 scars are gone. I actually think it would have been cool if they kept the scars in. You know, this is, like, hey, this is what you did to me. I cried tear scars. You know how much that hurts? So, she's all green. Her nose is, like, angled down and her chin is pointy and stuff. And they've got her in, like, this black thing that just wraps around her head. And her head is, like, bigger because of all the makeup for the Wicked Witch. And then the costume. The costume is actually pretty good. Well, I think it is, so. And so she's like, your wizard is not powerful, and I will show you, or something. And so all the stuff with the building and tinkerers and stuff. And then the attack on the Emerald City. The attack on the Emerald City, which is pretty cool. Glinda summons up this fog, and Theodora's sister sends out all the baboons, the flying baboons. And so instead of, charging out there with everything they got, they send in scarecrows. Like, Glinda, the Oz's side, they send out scarecrows. The scarecrows don't do anything except divert attention and make stuff explode. So, so they do all that, and, what happens next? And then Glinda gets captured and taken to be executed before the people of Oz. And so, Oz still, like, so they get into the city, and Oz is like, okay, he talks to Finley, and, oh, by the way, Glinda loses her wand, and then the porcelain girl grabs it and starts running through the Emerald City. Just so we know what happened to the China girl. Did I say porcelain again? I want to say porcelain, but I wanted to say China at the same time. But anyway, so 8:53. All right. So, Finley, a dwarf, I'm sorry, truly sorry. A Munchkin and Oz are leading the people, are sneakily leading people through the Emerald City, and Oz turns around and is like, alright, so, you guys, carry on without me, I'm getting out of here. And so, then we see, then the Wicked Witch, Mila Kunis, looks up and sees Oz dumping a lot of gold into a hot air balloon, and then it starts going off. And so she's like, there's your wizard just running away back to Kansas. Back to Kansas. You know what? She summons fire and shoots it, and it comes tumbling down and then Finley goes over and he's like, no. And then this guard goes over and he's like, alright. Finley looks up and it's Oz. He survived. He didn't try to escape. And so then they go to phase 2 of the plan, which is really, really awesome. So from the smoke, just giant, big things of smoke erupt from the balloon, and then they have a hidden projector just hidden, and they project Oz's image onto the smoke, like the image of his face onto the smoke, and he's like, ah, you dare try to defeat the Wizard of Oz, and all that sort of stuff. And he's in like a booth being filmed, and his head, it's like how, and it's pretty much how he does it. Because, in the Wizard of Oz, when they get to the wizard, there's a smoke and there's a head, and he's like, what do you want? And then they find a man behind the curtains, and he's like, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtains. Pay attention to me. And so they do that, and which is really, really funny and clever. And apparently, they have their army throw spears at the smoke to try to destroy Oz. But it doesn't work, and he's like, no, now you will feel my wrath. And all these fireworks start shooting from everywhere. England is like, so that's what a firework is. And then, no, it wasn't like a giant explosion. There were civilians there. And they scare off Mila Kunis, who flies away on her broom, and he says, now, if you ever change your ways and are nice to us again, you may return. Which, is a really nice move, saying, alright, if you're not trying to kill me, you're welcome back into the land. And, she's like, never! And she runs off, and then the other Wicked Witch goes to, the throne room where Glinda is. And then they have this really awesome battle. Glinda's using her wand. The other Wicked Witch is using green lightning, which is pretty cool. And then, I guess, Glinda breaks the thing that kept the Wicked Witch, like, young, I guess, and gave her her power. So she flew away like, I'll get you next time, Gadget, next time! And so, and from what I'm to understand, that Wicked Witch that flew away like, ah, is the one that got the house dropped on her in Wizard of Oz. Ha! So yeah, didn't really have a comeback. And then Oz and Glinda hit it off, apparently, because why not? And he becomes the ruler of Oz, and that's it. That's pretty much Oz the Great and Powerful. So, and I know, I've seen some reviews of it saying it's good, some saying it's, yeah, some saying it's not good, but it's okay, really. I think it's pretty good. I actually liked it, and just a fun fact, I've never seen the Wizard of Oz movie, but I just know, like, everything about it, so now I want to watch it. So let's see if I covered everything on my list here. Plot, check. China Girl and Monkey, check. The Oz face, I forgot that, okay. So, James Franco makes this weird face every now and again. Like, I can't describe it. I have to try to imitate it. First off, I can't see a thing anymore. Now that I've taken my glasses out, he's like, I'm your wizard. And it's just weird, that weird face. And he made it when he made that face when he glued back the little China girl's legs, and it's just awkward. And he did that, like, I think when Mila Kunis was like, you know, I'll be your queen and you'll be rich and everything, and he's like, I'm your wizard, and stuff like that. It's just awkward. And like when he first did it was just a regular smile, and then it kept going and growing, and I was just like, is his smile going to stop? Alright, how beautiful Mila Kunis is, before she became the Wicked Witch. Barrier of Good. Oh, the Tragedy of the Witch. Okay, so the Tragedy of the Witch is the last thing I want to cover here, because it's just so sad. It's just a really depressing story, because, you know, okay, so they start out and everything's hunky-dory, and then her sister, you know, makes it look like Oz didn't care about her, and will go after any woman he sees. And then, you know, she becomes the Wicked Witch, which is okay, but the problem is she has to stay the Wicked Witch for the rest of her life. She will never be changed back. She will never have the life that she had. She will never, you know, go out and marry Oz. And you know, at the end of the movie, Oz is hitting it up with Glinda. And so, and then in the next movie, you know, they throw the bucket of water on her, if I'm to understand this right. They throw the bucket of water, and she melts and dies. It's just really, really depressing. So, I just wow. Poor girl. And I think the thing that makes me feel the most sad about it is that it is Mila Kunis playing Theodora / the Wicked Witch. Oh, by the way, so just so I can tell you of these tie-ins. So I told you that the little China girl was voiced by the little handicapped girl in the audience at Oz's Magic Show. Well, Michelle Williams, that plays Oz's love in Kansas, also plays Glinda. So I guess that makes sense. I don't know. And then Oz had an assistant when he's back in Kansas, and I'm pretty sure the same guy voiced Finley when he got to Oz. And then throughout the movie, they set up characters for the Wizard of Oz. They set up the Cowardly Lion. They set up the Tinkers that will make the Tin Man. They set up the Scarecrow. Obviously, they set up Oz, Glinda, and the two Wicked Witches. And the only thing that they didn't reference in Oz the Great and Powerful that would be in The Wizard of Oz is the ruby slippers that Glinda gave Dorothy. I guess she just had those lying around. So, yeah. So, I guess for a rating, I'd give this I don't know, I'd probably give it 4 out of 5 stars, because it was pretty good. I liked it. So, I guess that's all. Let's see, we're almost to 40 minutes here. Wow. I didn't think I'd be able to do that just by myself. So yeah, that is all for this little improv review of Oz the Great and Powerful. Stay tuned in. I'm delving into the world of reviews, so probably more will come of that. More Majora's Mask and Pokemon Liquid Crystal coming up as soon as I get to a computer to record them. And I actually have, I gotta post-commentate a Majora's Mask video, but anyway, so yeah. More to come. Probably gonna end up doing more improv reviews and more 10-second reviews. So, yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later. Swollen64, signing off.